Now, the Hospitality Vancouver Association called today for the immediate closure of 3 SROs in a 2-block strip of Granville Street. They held a press conference today alongside Mayor Ken Sim and the police chief, Steve Rye. Now, Dave Kershaw is a member of that organization as well as the owner of Cabana Nightclub at 1163 Granville. It is directly underneath the St. Helens SRO. And he spoke about what he saw as deteriorating conditions in the area. And Dave Kershaw is on the line with us right now. Hi there, and a very good afternoon to you.
How you doing, Gloria? Nice to speak with you.
Yeah, I'm glad you could join us. You know, we did hear a clip on the newscast just now, but we'd like to hear more about just why it is you're calling for immediate closure of these SROs.
Well, honestly, Gloria, what we've seen over the last 5 years since COVID, when the province decided to move people with complex mental health issues as well as drug addiction up to the SROs on Granville, is an exponential increase in public disorder, open drug use, and these mental health episodes that are frankly jarring to the average person. And it's really making people feel unsafe. And I think that was highlighted with the events of last Monday, where there was actually someone stabbed and killed on Granville Street. And the people involved were residents of the SROs in the area. So it's the entertainment district. And the hospitality industry has always wanted these vulnerable people to get the help that they need, but they're just not getting it on Granville Street. I mean, no one with any common sense or a clear conscience could come down to Granville and draw the conclusion that these people are being served in the SROs on Granville. They don't have the proper wraparound services. It's not the area for them. So it's really damaged the business and livelihoods of all the business owners along the block, as well as my staff. And it's getting to a point, I mean, I live downtown and I walk down Granville every day on my way to my business or to the gym. And it's getting increasingly sketchy with large groups of people sitting around smoking some kind of drugs. And, don't make eye contact with them because it might be nothing, but they might just get upset with you. So we're really asking the province to do the right thing and undo this situation that was their own creation, by bringing these people who have really complex problems up to Granville Street and not providing them with the support they need. So help local business, help these people at the same time, get them into a spot that serves their needs. And it's not on Granville Street.
Well, again, your nightclub has been there for more than a decade. You talk about this exponential increase in drug use and public disorder. So, we heard about the impact on your bottom line. What about just in running a business? What changes when you have that just outside your doors?
Well, I mentioned it earlier. I mean, my staff are continually removing people who are gathered in front, smoking drugs, just so we can open the business. They've cleaned up human feces. I've personally had to move people away from my customers that are smoking. I mean, I don't know what they're smoking. Crack, meth, your guess is as good as mine. We had an object thrown from one of the windows recently. Luckily, it did hit someone, but luckily it hit a tree on the way down first. It was a 2-liter bottle of Coke that was just heaved out a window, and it hit a tree and then hit a guy in the shoulder. Now, he wasn't hurt, but if that had hit him directly in the head, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're talking about a different news story today. So it's really gone to a point where it's frankly getting a bit dangerous. And I have conversations with people all the time that say they just don't come to Granville Street because they don't feel safe. This was never the way before 2020. This happened directly because of the policy of the NDP to move these people with complex mental health and drug addiction issues up to Granville. I've been there for 15 years at Cabana. It wasn't like that before. So it's been a real impact. You heard some of the stats. I mean, the SRO that's above me has had 1,300 calls for service just from the fire department. That included 31 fires. That's in 5 years. The previous 10 years combined had a fraction of that. There's fire trucks outside my business on almost every night that we're open, and people come by and they see a fire truck with its sirens blaring and they assume that something's gone wrong in the club when it's really just another false alarm or someone did something silly in their suite. So it's really impacting our businesses. It's hurting my staff's bottom line too, because if we're not busy, then they don't make much money and I schedule less people. And these people aren't being helped. So no one's winning here. So why don't we come up with a smart strategy, find a place for these people to get the support they need, and not really, cause the damage to local business that you are continuing to do. And this is supposed to be the entertainment zone. This is not the place to serve these people, and it's not working out.
Well, we've heard there will be some movement in the area. I mean, one of those SROs, as you're likely aware, that the Lugat at 1176 Granville is scheduled to close by next June. BC Housing says they're actively working to ensure all the residents there are relocated. What about that June deadline? What do you make of that?
Well, that can't come soon enough. And I mean, that's one of them. There's two more. So is that going to happen in June? I mean, is it happening just because of FIFA? And I think part of the reason that one's going first is because there's been so much water damage to that hotel from the fires and the sprinklers being discharged that many of the rooms are not occupiable. So we want some clear answers on a date for all three SROs from the province as soon as possible, and preferably prior to June. And we understand they need to find people, spots to live. However, they were able to move those people into the Howard Johnson in less than 2 weeks. So it shouldn't take 6 months to move them out.
Well, the Hospitality Association, your group is calling for immediate closure of these three SROs. Just listen to what Julie Roberts had to say. Julie Roberts is from the Community Builders Group, which runs two of the three SROs.
Move supportive housing from the downtown core, and Community Builders' position is that we've been operating Granville Villa since 2020 and operate supportive housing in the downtown core, and we've been successfully part of the community for the last 5 years, and we think that closing housing in the downtown core without having an alternative of places for people to go would have a significant impact on our residents. We know that there is a housing shortage in Vancouver, and so having less units of housing will actually make the situation on the street probably worse.
So, Dave Kershaw, what's your message to Julie Roberts?
Well, it hasn't been a success. That's just some talking points she's clearly been fed. But I do agree that we do need a place to put these people. And that's the job of government to figure that out, not of a small business owner. So I'll leave that to them to unravel this damage that they have done and created on Granville Street. But I mean, to suggest that the operation at the Granville Villa is a success is like, it's frankly delusional. And you just need a pair of eyeballs and walk by the place a couple of times to know that that's how it is. Like, it's just, yeah, it's not a good scenario on Granville Street. Have you been down, Gloria, to check it out?
I go there daily. I walk that. That's my route, actually. That's my walking route, and I go earlier in the day, so it's a different scene, and it's not really ramped up to sort of entertainment district kind of crowds by the time I'm heading home either. But I take your point to how the area has changed over the past several years, and it would be nice to find some solutions. So, Mayor Sim was at your press conference today. What about other levels of government? Have you got the ear of someone in Victoria?
Well, not really. In fact, I was given some names at BC Social Housing. I don't really want to call them out on here, but I've been in communication with them directly to express my concern and, frankly, ask for some compensation for the damage that's been done to my business. And I've been given double talk and essentially ignored. So we don't really have the ear of anyone over in Victoria. Vancouver City Council and Mayor Sims are on the same page with us, and they've been very supportive in our push to move these SROs off of Granville. They've done everything they can, but this is a provincial-sized problem that requires provincial-sized budgets to deal with. So, when Ravi Kahlon was a housing minister, he basically denied it was an issue. It was just full denial by him. The new housing minister hasn't made any progress either. So no one in Victoria seems to be taking this seriously, and we would appreciate that they did. And we're going to continue bringing this to the public's attention until the matter is resolved in a positive way for everyone. And this includes the residents that are there. I don't want anyone to think that hospitality is heartless and doesn't have any compassion for these people. We do. It's always been our message that we need to find these vulnerable people a place that serves their needs. And again, just their needs are not being served on Granville. And to suggest that they are is just, it's just nonsense.
Dave Kershaw, we appreciate your time today. This is an issue we will continue to monitor, and thank you very much for your time.
All right, Gloria, nice speaking with you.
That's Dave Kershaw, the owner of Cabana Nightclub on Granville Street in Vancouver. Now, we did ask for a statement from the province on this issue. The Minister of Housing, Christine Boyle, says, "Our government and the City of Vancouver are working together to actively relocate tenants in the Lugat housing into housing that meets their needs. And we continue to work on plans to relocate tenants in the St. Helens Hotel and Granville Villa. This is all part of an effort to replace aging SROs with purpose-built social and supportive housing in Vancouver that can better support community members."